Well, welcome back. Real quick, want to go over the sponsors. Remember to check out Motion Ducks. Thomas, tell us about Motion Ducks real quick.
Motion Ducks is an awesome way to upgrade your original jerk string. Instead of just having your decoys in a straight line, you can spread them out. The original Motion Ducks is 4 decoys. You can add another one to make it 7 decoys on a jerk string. Looks really good. They got plenty of videos online. You can check it out, what it looks like. Get you some motion in your spread. Out where we hunt, we have a lot of calm days, so they come in handy quite a bit.
And you can, there's a deal going on right now. Man, this is loud. Test.
Excuse me.
I don't know if you're good. There's a deal you can check out. Go to motionducks.com/MVM. Let me confirm that. Now I can't remember. I want to make sure. Yeah, /MVM. And what's cool about that is Ben set it up. That's the owner of Motion Ducks. You can get a 10% off if you add an MVM 10 in checkout. And he kind of made a page basically specifically for our listeners. So go check that page out, motionducks.com/MVM. And then when you go purchase your Motion Ducks, put an MVM 10 for 10% off. Also, for our another sponsor, we also have Miller Outdoor Adventures. It's located in northeast Arkansas on the Cache River. They have rice and bean fields, duck and snow goose conservation hunts. You can go on an unguided hunt for $500 a day. And if you mention MVM or the podcast, you'll get $50 off a day. And what I like about, you say $500, well, $500 covers as many guys basically as you want to get in there. So if you want to take a group of 6 or 8 buddies, break that down a day, or even just one day if you want, and split that up, and it's way cheaper. I mean, just do the math on it. So check out their Facebook page, Miller Outdoor Adventure NEA, or you can go to their website, milleroutdooradventures.com, or you can call or text and book a hunt at 870-586-3004. And he's a super cool dude. I think you guys will like him. And there's some dates left. And we might even get on a hunt out there. He's trying to get us to come out there February 2021 for a snow goose hunt conservation. I haven't really looked to see if I can even do that yet, or you guys, but we do have the invite, and I really would like to make it out with them. If not this year, maybe next. But anyways, let's get right into the podcast, the episode. We are now back from Idaho, and the last you heard is we found thousands upon thousands of birds, and we were heading that night to go pick Travis up from the airport. The rest is history. Travis, without further ado, tell us.
So basically, I get this phone call from Thomas and Titus, and they're pretty much about ready to stroke out because they're telling me that they literally found thousands of birds, and we don't need to look anywhere else. We got our spot
for a few days.
And they had several locations picked out. Basically, told me that there was 13 miles of solid mass hysteria of mallards. So, needless to say, my expectations were pretty high. We started out there in the morning in the boat ride. I haven't been in the boat too much, and I'm paranoid of water, deep water, I guess I would say. And so I'm like going along, we're jamming this boat, and I'm like, hope these guys know this thing. There's no log jams, no, sandbars or whatever. And you can't see how deep the water is. The snake is, most of it's really shallow. I was surprised how shallow it was. But when it's dark, you can't see into the water. And lots of birds were flushing. It seemed like when we were going out there, there was quite a few birds flushing. Yeah. Not compared to what they were describing, but my hopes were high. And we got out there, we got set up. Beautiful location, beautiful scenery. Had a nice little spread. I don't know what we have, about not 2.5 dozen decoys, maybe about 3 dozen decoys.
Yeah. Which way?
Had a couple Avian X spinners that look really great. We had a couple pulsators, and we were all set up, and broke daylight, and waited.
Cricket.
I think what we ended up killing that day.
A couple widgeon right off the gate.
Yeah, we killed
Tom's
some.
doubled.
Yeah, he doubled.
Because our
Ibanelli clicked. I think you killed a mallard as well.
Mm-hmm. I shot 4 that day.
Yeah, and I think I shot 1. I just shot a big.
I shot a pair of widgeon and a pair of mallards.
Did you even shoot a bird that day?
I do not know.
I
feel like I shot 1.
I thought I only shot 5.
You shot 1 later on.
He did shoot a mallard.
in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we tried that spot out,
I think we shot 6 or 7 total.
and the birds just weren't there, and so we
Gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we kind of came up with about a couple hundred theories of why they left or where they went.
Well, let me say this real quick. In this pocket alone, we had 4 or 5, 6 pins with just packs of massive amounts of mallards. In this pocket we hunted was like, I don't know, we'll just say 500 to 700 birds.
Which is insane. I mean, I've never
In
seen
this
500 or
and it was a
700
good little
mallards
pocket
together.
where it was calmer water because you got to understand the river and stuff. But yeah, nothing.
So that first day started off a little bit less than what I expected, and I began to worry. 2 years,
As we all did.
2 years before, we had went to Washington, and we kind of experienced something similar. But in Washington, we couldn't find the birds to begin with,
Period.
and we looked and didn't find anything. And then we got a nice tip from someone that Titus knew that followed us, and he provided us some information, and it basically turned it around. But at this point in Idaho, I was like, okay, deep breath. And so, I guess that was plan A, B, and C, and D, and then we were down to plan.
It deflated us probably every bit or more than you because
way worse than him.
It didn't really deflate me because
Way worse than him.
because I didn't see what was there, so I didn't have any. I mean, I heard you guys talking, but it's a lot different when you see it.
Travis
And then-
came in on like what, day 3 or 4
He was
for me and Titus.
Thursday night, but his first hunt was Friday morning.
Friday morning.
Okay, so me and Titus had been there 2 days already, or 3 days.
Well, we've done 3
Right.
3 hunts.
An evening and 2 full days.
Mhm.
So we had already been hunting and scouting, mainly like
Hard.
scouting every bit as much as hunting, and we were basically scouting as we were hunting also. So we had seen good stretch of river already, and when we got to this particular area, we were just like relieved. We're like, oh sweet, we don't have to move anymore. Like, we found the area we're gonna stay in. We're gonna be here this whole time. We got 4 different money pins. There's all kinds of birds. There's nobody else here. Just everything was right. And man, did things change? And we could speculate too long for this podcast as to why they weren't there. But it wasn't just like where we were. It was the whole area. Did I jump in the boat after that, or was that the second day?
No, you ran upriver that day.
That same day, right?
Yeah, to see if there was another location you guys had scouted. There
I
was
went
a lot
up
of birds.
5 miles,
And you
6
thought
miles.
maybe there was additional birds there.
Yeah, maybe they had just pushed in a different spot.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
gone.
So.
Gone. We're talking multiple thousands.
Mm-hmm. Lots.
Thomas spoke for. I am so glad it was not just me.
And you guys had video proof.
Yeah, we did. And that wasn't even the mass amount. I just took the first group when we flushed them up.
Yeah.
And I know some people listening probably are like, well, you flushed them out of there. Well, I've done plenty of times where you come in and birds move, lift off. We didn't stay there and like pester them. We just kept going. We never stopped.
Yeah.
So it gave them time to come back in and settle back in those spots. We talked about what we should have did is we should have just hunted that evening. Looking back now, you find birds, you got to hunt. But in our mind, we're cool. I know we didn't shoot a lot of birds that day, me and him. We hunted that morning. But it was like the mindset was we'd rather sacrifice scouting now and the rest of the trip be just set.
Yeah.
And we were so confident with so many birds we've seen, dude. It was like, pfft.
And so what would say would be a takeaway from that? What would you learn? Would you in the future, if you've seen all those birds sitting there, would you basically just stop at that one spot, not continue upriver and just hunt that one spot? Then whatever's in the river further, you just leave them? Or what do you do?
I don't know. What do you think?
That would be the only thing that we could change. Because like you said, we're not just like moving up a mile, oh wow, jacking around, driving around in circles like, look at all this, and just sitting there. I mean, we were cruising at 25 miles an hour the whole time, never stopped. Mm-hmm. So if there was a fisherman or
anything else would have blew them out.
Any other thing, it was no different. So I don't know. Maybe it was the south storm /rain. It was pretty weak. Maybe it was us. whatever. I mean, takeaway, maybe what we could have done. Yeah, we could have hunted that night, but that's just one hunt.
Yeah.
Like, big deal. Like Titus said, we were trying to set up the whole trip. So
Exactly.
And 14 miles of river, dude.
And people went past us that day, so if there was additional birds there, they would have blew them out that day. They would have.
Yeah.
That one group continued on, so any birds that were there that next morning would have been
right
pushed.
So
which would have been back to the one hunt thing.
Right. So we didn't do anything different than they did.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? We just were there one day earlier.
Exactly.
So I don't really know if, we could have hunted that night. But as far as the next day, I don't know. Maybe the next day would have been different if we wouldn't have went up there. But then you wouldn't
know where
have
to
known. You wouldn't have known where the birds were at. So
Yeah.
I don't really know unless maybe. And the thing is, you can't see from the road either. So.
Yeah, I don't think you guys would have done anything in retrospect, because the birds were there. You kept scouting, looking for additional spots, and for whatever reason, those birds decided that, hey, it's time for us to move out of this location, and that's exactly what they did.
That's what we think. As many as were there, dude, they didn't come all in one group and land in there. Now, they sure did leave together. But you know how birds are. Birds see birds, and they come in. Then birds see more birds, and they come in from the heavens. I mean, they'll do that on our decoy sometimes, right? You'll be looking up, staring, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, appears a dot, and then bam, he's down your spread. So
yeah, and we did see some high flying birds that next morning, but not what you guys had said.
No, dude,
And
it wasn't
so,
even them.
And so it wasn't.
It wasn't even a tenth of what we seen, dude.
Yeah, it wasn't. The
And
birds had pushed out of the area.
What it was, and I think we all kind of talked and agreed on this. I really think that was those birds have been sitting there for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days, comfortable, stacking in, no boats going up and down. It was the end of the week, so they had been there during the weekday when no one's jacking around out there. And it's a secluded place, a secluded ramp, and a secluded stretch of river. It's not like there's much ramps in this area, and there's not much housing. So it was just kind of somewhat ag and barren land.
Yeah.
And it's like what happened, I think, is they had been there for quite a long time. They got comfortable. They did their little feeding around, their little dabbling, their little going in the fields and back and forth. And we came through and they're like, you know what? We've been here for 5 days. Let's bounce. And moved on.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that makes sense, dude. Because going down the river, flushing up ducks doesn't push them out of the area. It can.
Just relocate on the river.
I mean, that probably did in that situation, but not every time.
Yeah.
Because we did this. We went down the same spot twice and then went back and hunted in the evening and shot ducks.
Yeah.
Later on.
Yeah.
It's just a fact those birds were done with that area, and it was a good reason for him to get up and go. Literally, that's the only thing that makes sense. Like Thomas said, that storm was super minor. Low winds, if any, and a sprinkle. There was no crazy winds. There was no heavy rain.
Yeah.
They wanted to roll, dude.
So we hunted that. Then did we hunt that evening? I don't remember.
We hunted there all day.
Yeah, because
The first day
we went and got food.
Yeah.
Because we were like, me and Thomas were like, we have to know if this is a fluke thing and they're going to come back in the evening.
Yeah.
We had to know. There's no way we could not stay and make sure.
Yeah. So
Can you imagine? Because we talked about it. We've been on refuges. Oh, there ain't no birds here. It was me, Thomas, Talon, and Teddy. And we were on a refuge. We're out there hunting until like 11 o'clock. Not a stinking bird. We jumped so many birds out there. It was insane. And it was mainly mallards. Feathers everywhere. We're like, oh my goodness, we're going to do good. Bam. Sunlight comes up. No birds. We get sick and tired of waiting. We're finally like fed up. We're like, maybe it might have been 12. We left, come back, hunt in a different spot in the afternoon. We find out a guy hunting our spot comes out with 7 Drake mallards. And he said, I couldn't keep them off me. They're like flies landing on them.
Yeah. So it's just
So in our minds, like, we'll never let that happen again. We got to know.
Yeah.
Because it could happen. And it will happen. It has happened. But it didn't. So
that was day one.
The day one
I
for
was
you.
there.
Yeah.
And then the next day.
Day 2 was a waste.
Day 2, we had got a little bit later start, right? Was that the day that we went to, and Caleb would come in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Friday night.
Yeah, and you had a
spot. We had to go pick Caleb up.
Yeah, you had a spot picked out, but it was kind of like almost like a public refuge area almost.
No.
Not really, but you know what I'm saying? It's a highly used area.
It was
accessible.
The weekend.
It was the weekend, Saturday.
It was Saturday, so.
Yeah, and that was a lot of people there.
So we got up a little too late, and then guys, we had to make a stop.
It
and-
wouldn't have mattered in that location.
Oh,
though,
you're
so.
thinking of that other spot up in the corner. That wasn't Saturday morning, I don't think.
No, we hunted an island. We hunted an island. There was
that was
that was the
wasn't
second
Saturday
day.
morning. Oh, it was
Yeah,
Saturday morning.
Yeah, it
No.
was.
We hunted closer to where we were at
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
because
we were too late.
Yeah,
yeah.
so we hunted that.
hmm And then Sunday morning we hunted in that pocket.
None of that big pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Now that, okay, let's talk about that for a second. So we knew we weren't going to shoot squat Saturday morning because,
that was a bust.
People were sky busting. There was divers,
well,
and
it
there,
wouldn't
there was
even
just no,
matter.
there was just no birds.
There was no birds in that
there.
stretch.
It was a bad area.
It was a jack up. Me and Thomas kind of screwed up the times when we basically were supposed to leave. We were off. I don't know how that happened.
I don't either.
Probably lack of sleep.
So
We're going on
much let
day
down from
4.
the day before.
We're starting to make bad decisions because now we're tired. We're 4 days in. But anyways, we were off about an hour of when we really should have left. And we weren't trying to be lazy. It was just like, oh, yeah, we're good. And then we didn't spend much time thinking about like you normally do. You know, you check and double check and recheck. But then the next morning, what I wanted to talk about in that pocket was
That was the third day.
Mm-hmm.
that was Sunday.
That was
Yeah.
Sunday morning.
Well, yeah, third day for you, I guess. I'm thinking Caleb, yeah. So that pocket, dude, that could have been a decent hunt. Really, like not like limits or anything, but those big packs, dude, come in. We were all 3 ready to shoot. Caleb was filming. We all 3 had our guns. We were set up right nice, and those 3 different 12 to 15 pack of mallards working as hardcore.
Well, that's when we had that one flock of probably 80 birds, right?
Yeah, oh, that's right. They were bigger, like 50 to 80, 60 birds.
Yeah.
Actually, there was 3 that were 2 that were really large, and then another 12 to 15 pack.
That was the massive group, though. And they circled for a considerable amount of time.
Yeah.
And looked a considerable
lower,
amount of time.
lower,
Yeah, they just kind
lower.
of vortex down.
till about, 80 yards,
Yep.
where you're getting like, okay, this next one's going to be it. And then they bounced, and we're just like, that actually made me really mad. That's why I like killing mallards. I think that's why we do, because they're very smart. They play mind games with you, and then they leave you hanging. And
Yeah.
you're all this tension building up, like it's gonna happen. Bam, it's over, and you're like,
And there wasn't tons of birds in that area as well. There was no
No.
high flights moving through. There was not a lot of shooting from other groups that were spread out.
less
through
birds
that,
than we had seen when we were
that
scouting
section
that.
of the river.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, I mean, if you would have got that one to finish,
But we
and
had-
then those other
yeah,
2,
but
we
we-
could have had.
But we had singles that started to come in, and about, what do you think, 80 yards, they would just break off for whatever reason.
Even the singles,
We
drakes,
didn't- we
which
didn't-
never happens.
Yeah, we didn't know what the rationale was for why they didn't work. Because
You know, Kevin told me he never used pulsators there. So we had pulsators out. We had our spinner wings. We turned those off. We left the pulsators running. I mean, was it the pulsators? We were hidden, dude.
I don't know.
We were hidden.
But it was a very calm day, no wind.
Yeah.
I mean, it was dead still. It didn't look natural. And you got
Well, we had pulsators out there, but maybe,
Yeah.
I don't know. We did everything we know to do that we've done for years to try to adjust.
Yeah. And you know what, too, that's a good point, because, I mean, we haven't got that far in advance, but the last day, we didn't have pulsators.
Kevin said he never uses them. He goes, why use them there? Which the reason he's saying that is because he has current where he hunts.
There was no
There
current.
was no current where we're at.
There
So, I
was
mean,
absolutely no current.
I think they were just stale, wary birds.
for sure.
The area in that pocket, we didn't see nothing like we seen at that other spot. So
Yeah.
my expectations weren't super high. Like I knew Saturday morning, that was basically a waste
We had that
of time.
group of gadwalls come in, and did you guys ever look on the shot cam to see what happened to that other gadwall that we dropped? Remember, we had the 3-pack come in. You dropped the first bird, and then that second bird went down. Remember, that bird just disappeared.
I mean, the shot cam's like the worst thing to tell that with, though, because you're really only shooting what you shoot, and then I'm not holding it on after that. So no. And I did look, and I was like, I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
I had no idea, but the shot cam showed him folded.
Mm-hmm. That bird just
And then you
disappeared.
seen the one you shot go down,
Yeah.
and you folded him. Weird,
Yeah, I don't know what happened to that bird.
but I'm sure I was behind on it.
Only
Honestly, he
explanation
wasn't
I have
dead.
is he dove and hung on to something underneath the water.
Yeah.
I've seen him do it.
Oh, I've had it happen to me this year with that teal. up north. But anyways, to me, I don't know, maybe you guys don't agree, but I feel like if that 60, 70, 80 pack would have came in, and then those couple, 20, 30, and 12 packs would have came in, we could have easily had 4 birds apiece.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think we would have walked out there pretty happy.
Well, compared to the 2 days before.
Right.
Especially the day before.
It wasn't no limits, but I mean, would have felt a lot better than walking away out of there just with, one
a gadwall.
gadwall.
Yeah.
Hidden gadwall.
Yeah.
So then what did we do after that?
I believe we went to that's when we went back to the original location where you guys had seen all the birds. We got there and we decided, and we seen some birds landing from the parking lot, and we decided to go.
That was Sunday evening.
Yeah, we went upstream, remember, and we were across from that, kind of like that holding pond over there.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought that it was
what did we
getting
shoot?
worse. We shot birds that evening.
It's 5 or 6.
Yeah, we shot, and it was birds that were coming into that pond. So it's kind of like a holding area where we knew birds would be transitioning in there maybe in the morning. And there was a couple different pockets in there that were holding mallards back in there. So that was kind of our plan, for the next day, which was I was able to hunt Monday morning. I was going to leave that afternoon. Mm-hmm. So we'd kind of talked about hunting that spot again Monday morning. And then, you got some intel from
from a friend.
a reliable source.
Yeah. But he had never even hunted that spot.
Yeah. But
And so, I don't know, do we want to move to that? So we shot 5 or 6 birds over there that evening.
Yeah.
That made us feel a little bit better. I mean, still ain't. It's not like you died. Here's the thing, and I've reminded myself this so many times, is you're going to a new place.
It's a learning experience.
Every day is new. You've never been to these spots. You never,
It's
and
freelancing.
It's literally freelancing. And it's like it's fun, like looking back, like it's not fun not being successful. How do I put that in words? Because
you enjoy the trip, I would say, but when you have certain expectations and you don't feel like you got close to them, then I guess there can be somewhat of a letdown, even though it's cool to go to new places, experience new environments, new styles of hunting, see new country.
I think what it was for me and him is the heart stomper was all those birds we've seen, and then they were gone. That literally
that took
crushed us.
That took the air out of your balloons.
I'd almost rather not even seen that than seeing what we've seen, because it kind of it hung us up in that area where we could have kept moving. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And looking elsewhere. But we committed to that spot.
But that seemed like the areas that we hunted, that was the place that held the most concentrations of birds, even after all those birds left, because other spots really were not holding birds. The other 2 locations we went to weren't holding birds.
I think it's just when you're on a trip, like TikTok, the clock's ticking. Like you only have a certain amount of time. So like the one morning where we hunted closer to where we were staying was basically a waste. And then the next morning when we hunted that pocket, both of those areas, we didn't shoot as many birds as then when we hunted that area where we saw a lot of birds. Even though a lot left, we shot more birds in that stretch of river than the other 2
locations.
The other 2.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we still weren't shooting what we wanted to or, expected to.
Yeah, that's why we ventured up to those other areas, just because it could potentially produce more birds.
Mm-hmm. But I think, even on a longer hunt, even on a 6-day hunt, I mean, 2 mornings that don't go well, I mean, that's a big percentage.
Yeah,
of your trip.
You guys, I was there 3 days, and you guys were there, 3 days before me, so you guys had really had a longer, almost double the stint of, unrealized expectations.
Mm-hmm. And so you guys know, it's not like we are expecting, we expect the limits every day. Maybe your brain thinks that, but I know that's not reality. But I know it should be a possibility every so often. But I think if we would have just all got 3 or 4 birds apiece, it would have made it a lot different than one.
One the whole day?
Yeah, or you know what I mean?
3 shooters, yeah.
Yeah, or whatever. Not that we even did that bad, really, except I don't think we ever did.
The second day, and we only shot 1 bird.
The whole day?
Mm-hmm, because remember, we took a break.
We hung out,
We hung
on
out
Saturday.
On Saturday.
That's right. Which is not, I'm sure, what you were expecting to meet, nor Caleb. He was probably like, why are we doing this? But it was like, I don't know. It was, you could fault me for that because I was just like, dude, I got to reset. Like, this is just pounding us. I'm glad we did, though, because we have the drive home on Tuesday morning, and then we had an amazing hunt on Monday. Mm-hmm. But let's talk about that a little bit. So we moved to a whole different area, go a whole another way up the river, and that was, I will say this, 4 guys. So I don't remember what day it was that we had 4 of us in there. So it was myself, Travis, Caleb, Thomas. Are you over 200 pounds right now?
And Rocky.
You're probably not, huh?
I don't know.
We're 200 plus.
I'm at 200.
Well,
maybe
we
190 plus.
That Saturday and Sunday though, with excessive, amount of people in there.
So your fighting current, the one day we were going upstream, and I clocked it at 12 miles an hour. We got 4 guys over 200. Sorry, Caleb, if you're not. Rocky's 90 pounds. We had 4 dozen decoys because we had yours too, the Rogers ones. So we had all our final approach ones, and then the Rogers ones, that's 4 dozen. We had all our gear, all of Caleb's Pelican cases with camera gear, and we're like, we and Thomas were talking, we're like, this ain't gonna work. Now we can't hunt those other spots because they're like 10 miles upriver, 12 miles upriver. I said, we're definitely ain't going there now. Even if we cut back, we just never gonna have, it'll take us too long.
Mm-hmm. That was something we didn't really think about or factor in.
So the next day we had Caleb downsize big time. He had one photo camera, or my photo camera, his 6K camera, Rocky, 2 dozen decoys.
No motion decoys.
No motion decoys. No, my seat thing.
Yeah, we took all the seats out.
Yeah, just everything. Literally.
Your ice chest.
Hardly nothing.
It was like stripping all the parts off the planes on Pearl Harbor.
To get serious. Yeah, to get down and dirty. And what were we pulling going downriver? It was not bad, huh? Well, it was foggy, super foggy. You were driving.
Are you talking about the last day?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was foggy. That was
Travis was sketch.
It was kind of mystical.
I thought you were talking about
I will tell you this.
Sunday.
That wasn't the first time me and Thomas had been in the boat and that, so I was a little bit more not as bad. But the first time we hit fog with those lights, it's not fun. Because your mind starts playing games on you. You got your beams on. You can't turn them off because you just it ain't gonna help you see better. Like turning a low beam on or something.
Fog is terrible.
In a boat, it's horrible. Even just a little mist because it just. Anyways, you're going up down a place you can't see. Thomas is driving. I'm like messing with the GPS. Then he's taking it. Then he has to jack with stuff. Then I take it back, getting him lined out, hand it back to him. And I can't even feel my hands.
What was going on? Because you were a little irritable that morning.
I was going to drive.
What? Well, why didn't you say something to me?
I had all my stuff on. I was already getting ready to get in, and he hopped in the back.
It was my turn.
Hey, I don't care. I just had set in my mind to drive, but it was all good.
You never said one thing to me.
Yeah. I want you to read my mind like a woman.
Evidently, I'm supposed to be married to you.
Yeah.
You're
married, shouldn't you know that by now?
Backstory, we basically would just take turns. Like, he would drive in, I would get the truck, back it in, he would load the boat. Next time, I'm doing vice versa, so we're just always kind of rotating. So when you were like throwing me the phone and just like...
I didn't throw you my phone, it's my phone. Why would I throw you my phone?
We're
driving.
No, you were like something like... I was like, hey, can you get your GPS or something like that? You're like... Well, I don't know what you said, but you spouted something off. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. You were mad for a while, though. Even after we shot birds, Travis will vouch for me.
I know. I don't. Did I try to hide it? I'm not trying to hide it.
Well, what were you? Well, you could at least let us know.
I was mad at the world.
Evidently, Titus was bloodthirsty. I think at this point, I think we all kind of were. This was what, day 7?
There's a lot of skin in the game. It wasn't just gas money.
Well, you're
Airbnb.
not the only one that had skin in the game.
It wasn't just gas money and Airbnb.
I took 7 days off. How many days off did you take?
Yeah, I took 2. 2. Guess what?
7.
That's 3 for you. Mine are 12 hours.
Okay. Well, I still took over double of what everyone else on the trip took.
So you sacrificed more?
I did.
Oh my God. Okay.
What's so hilarious about that?
It's hilarious because you got like 60 more days on top of that.
That's not the point. No. I'm not. That's not funny. The reason I have those
funny.
is because I didn't take those. So what? So I could take however much time off every year, but I didn't for a long period of time. So what's the difference? Whether I take it 5 years ago or now or in the future, those are still days that were time spent to earn.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just saying you were not the only one.
I did
that
not
had
say
skin
that.
in the game. Well, that's how you were acting.
No. I said I have a lot more than days off and
Yeah.
Airbnbs in the game.
Right. Money.
Yeah.
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 Both of us.
Okay.
Both of
Whatever.
us.
You had more invested than me.
I'm not saying more. I'm just saying, like, I wanted a good hunt every bit as much as you
I
did.
didn't say that. You didn't. You had shot more birds than me than quite a bit. And it wasn't because you shot better. It was because you were holding the gun more. And I was okay with that.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Look at these podcasts are amazing.
Hey, you want to say you had more
So wait a
more
minute.
sacrificed.
So when was I holding the gun and you weren't?
Went the first 3 days. Hey, I don't even care. My point is you had killed more birds up to me to this point.
Okay.
So yeah, I was more bloodthirsty than you.
Okay. We'll let that one go, I guess.
No.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
You don't? How do you not know?
Do I add fuel to this fire?
Yeah, add some fuel.
Then the Monday morning, we're sitting there. We got some birds working, and Thomas is on the right side, Titus is on the left side, and they land over there by Thomas, and he just like, you tripled on Drake Mallards, and then I think that was like the straw that
Broke the camel's back.
Oh, I didn't care about that.
I was like, oh no.
Why?
Travis is over here afraid to shoot birds because he thinks Titus is going to be yelling at him.
Yeah, right. Are you kidding me? Let's get into this. We're not even gonna.
Dude.
We can't even go
Okay,
there.
no, we need to go back to when am I holding the gun? Like I can make you hold the camera.
Well, here's
and
the
me
thing.
shoot the birds.
You never can make anything. My point was I was more bloodthirsty because you shot more birds.
Ladies. Here's the thing.
Okay.
This
How's
is
that
something-
my fault?
Ladies.
Did I say it was?
Ladies, this is in the past.
Oh my God.
This is in the past. So
I never said it was. I said I was more bloodthirsty than you.
Okay. Yeah, I guess
You
were.
killed like 4
yeah,
every day.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. I agree.
Well,
with
why
you.
do we got to go around circles for 5 minutes? You think I make stories up?
Because you're sounding like that.
I'm muting you, Travis.
It was my fault that I shot more birds.
I never said that.
the duck
I
hunting
said I was more
hormones.
bloodthirsty.
Yeah.
Duck hunting
Well, you said I
hormones.
didn't shoot better either.
Well, you didn't because you were. Okay, you shot better. When I didn't shoot that first pack in Idaho that came in, how ticked was I? Because I missed.
You were mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was shooting through trees.
So you weren't
and
holding
you
the
got
camera.
one. No,
Yeah.
I wasn't. I was wearing a GoPro. Then the second one came in. I think I got one. And you
Okay.
shot 1 or 2.
Okay.
And I think that's like all.
Well, you know what? I will give you credit for this. The first day Travis was there, me and Travis did shoot first, and I shot 4.
I know.
So I'll give you that one.
All I was saying is you shot more, so I was more bloodthirsty.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wasn't mad at you
Yeah.
or Travis or Caleb or anybody. I was just upset about the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because
Because it was the last day of the trip.
it was the last day of the trip.
Well, why didn't you say something?
I don't know.
Because what you made me feel like is you're mad at me for something, and Travis felt it too because he said something.
I know
to me.
that. I know you guys did.
Well, why didn't you say something like, dude, or whatever? Just like,
Because I didn't know what I was mad about.
oh my God, he's so confused.
No, I don't know. I was just honestly, I told you after that day, it was great. We shot 3 limits. We shot our limits, and we'll get into that in a second. But I need to wrap this up like 10 minutes. But I'll just be honest with you. I mean, like I'm always honest on this podcast. There was a lot of other things besides the trip. It's not no one's fault. I wasn't mad at you guys specifically. I was grouchy. I know I was. I was mad. There was other things going on personally, my personal life. It was literally everything was just like coming into me, and it had been getting worse every day. And it wasn't just the hunt. It was other things going on that I had found out other news that was very upsetting. Like I was not happy about, and it's still not better now, but it is what it is. So it was just like a lot of stuff was caving down. And then it was like, I don't know. I was just, it was like, it basically hit the boiling point for me. And that only brought me, as good as that day was, literally only brought me up to level. Like I was telling you on the way home. It wasn't like, and you know, your spirits are like 1,000 miles high.
Yeah.
It was just like, it brought me back to just like, okay, cool. I'm good again.
You can face another day.
I can face another day, dude. Oh.
We understand.
And, I mean, no content hardly. Like, yeah, I don't want to get into all the details of why that matters at this point. It didn't matter before, which was better, because now that it kind of does matter, it's worse when you don't have what you need to have.
It is worse.
What?
It is worse.
Why?
Well, now, like, if it matters, you know what I mean? Because then it's like there's more stake in the game, you know? And that ain't good.
No, and that's why I've thought about just like hanging it up. It's like, you know, because it's like, I don't like feeling that way when I go hunting. I don't want to feel that way. But before, and we're all getting detail now, but I don't care. Before, I had a really good job, really good paying. I didn't care this was a hobby. Now I don't have such a good job, and I kind of need, this money helps me go on these hunts. And then when they ain't good, that's fine and dandy because I have money saved. But then when that money's gone and I don't have no content, I can't make more money to go on hunts. So then you're like, this might be the end, like, of this season, because I ain't gonna have, you know what I mean? It's just,
Yeah.
So I was kind of, and it didn't weigh on me the first day, or the second day, or the third day, or the fourth day. It was by like Sunday after, or actually Saturday morning was when it was like, oh crud, and I'm like, Sunday, Monday, that's all we got left.
Yeah.
I was like, oh god, and I couldn't. It was hard to come back out of that one. After I shot my limit, then I was like, okay, whatever, we can get something, but.
Yeah.
We'll have 2 videos coming out. I guess what it sounds like Caleb was saying of this. I'm actually going to I got enough to make something of our first like 4 days. All combined. But by the time you guys are listening to this, a video will be coming out today, I believe. So anyways, that was a lot of information spread. But it makes no excuse. And like I said, I've told Thomas, we talked about this too on the way home. Is normally I get pretty like, well, I'm way faster than Thomas does about like when things aren't going right. But dude, I didn't even get like that until like Saturday.
Yeah.
Then
like
I was
you said,
just
it could be
and even then I wasn't jumping off the cliff yet.
It's accumulation of everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not just the one thing. It's accumulation of everything. And not to go into a counseling session or anything, but sometimes you have to take a step back and look at the whole perspective. You know what I'm saying? In the moment and in the scenario, or even during the week or the weeks after, you look at it and you're like, oh, crud, that's a rough time. You know what I'm saying? But look at the whole scale of where you started, where you're at now, and and you have a goal of like where you want to be, right? It's not going to be all a smooth ride. Some people it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you don't have a dip down or something like that, right? Then you can't truly appreciate when you do have those positive things, right? If it all comes easy, then what is that, right? You value more something when you have to work for it.
Oh, for sure.
And you got blood, sweat, tears, time, and money into it. You appreciate it more. You realize that, you know what, it's not always easy. But, like it says, race ain't given to the swift, to the strong. It's to those that endure, right? So you just got to keep going.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because like we talked about, and I talked about, the people that we've met, the people we got to talk to and experience and become friends with, that would have never have occurred if it wasn't for what, what you did, putting forth and going for this, trying to create a channel, create content that people can watch, that can enjoy, that kids can watch, anybody can watch, and they don't have to worry about what they're watching, And I think it's a positive thing. Some people would say, no, it's not, or whatever, but, that's their opinion. But just the people that you got to meet and experience and the places you got to go.
That's what's worth it, yeah.
It's been awesome. Things you would have never got to experience duck hunting because you branched out and tried something new.
And I feel like the bad part is it's such a weird situation because I feel like you, Thomas, are more willing now than even me. Like you're almost talking about, we can film it or I'll film or do whatever. And I'm just like, almost feeling like just thrown in the, which again, it was at the end of that trip where I was just like,
yeah. But I think in any endeavor, no matter what it is, I mean, I think even sometimes when people, have a lot of success or whatever, you can get burned out doing something. You know what I'm saying? It's just the monotony of doing the same thing over and over. Yeah, you enjoy the experience or whatever, but like you talked about, like now you feel like this is something that you almost have to do, right, to keep it going. You need content. You need stuff like this to keep it going, right?
And another thing about that is I ain't willing to put it at this stupid stuff just to put content.
Yeah, I mean,
so I don't want people listening thinking, oh, he's just going to do whatever it takes.
You make a video going out and killing 500 coots just for the fun of it?
Yeah, no.
You know what I'm saying? That's not what it's about or what you're trying to
And it's not always
accomplish.
about success, because here's the thing. If you guys watch the channel, you've seen we've had really good hunts. And me and Thomas talked about like, oh, I hope that's not a sign of having a really hard rough patch, because we've started off so good. And I feel like the channel's really hurt the beginning of this year because is it because it's not realistic? Like we're shooting 14 greenheads, me and Thomas, and we go out opening day and shoot. A lot of people shoot their limits on opening day because it's opening day.
Yeah.
If you're lucky enough to get in the morning, most people can do that. That's not nothing special.
Yeah.
When have you ever seen us shoot 14 greenheads? Me and Thomas. We have never done it. We've never have a video of us doing that.
I didn't even hunt on opening day because I didn't draw a reservation.
Yeah. So it's like, are people not watching? Is it YouTube that's just not letting it be put out there? Or is it people not watching because that's not realistic? I don't even want to click and see that because I'll never be able. It's like, I don't know, because I've thought that with these private places people hunt and they're smacking them down. It's like, it's kind of entertaining to watch, but at the same time, it's like, that's not reality. So, we're still hunting public land. We're still having hard times. And you see, we're having had it rough. We got our tails kicked in Idaho.
Oh yeah, we could show you plenty of rough time.
and I'm going to show it to you. I got it. I'm making something. You're going to see.
Yeah. Are we going to talk about Monday morning?
Yeah. So
Monday morning, like you said, you got some intel from somebody. And we really appreciate
we got an area from somebody because they never even hunted there.
Yeah. But
and we do appreciate it. For sure.
We appreciate it very much. And so we got out there and we did flush birds driving out there. But not a ton. I wouldn't say a ton. And then we'd flush that. There was birds in the spot that we hunted. There was some birds in there, some widgeon and mallards. And so we're like, okay, maybe this has potential. But then you always wonder, like before, are these birds going to come back? And we got set up in there, and it was kind of clear at first, right? But then the fog rolled in, like something terrific. And I think the fog may have helped us to a certain degree, personally.
Maybe where they didn't come in over the top, like too many, maybe.
Yeah, because as it broke up, there was more
bigger groups.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that was a blur. I don't even remember the first 2 hours. What was I doing? I was moving all over the place, grouchy, mad.
Yeah, and Thomas was up to 4 birds in 5 minutes. I think
I didn't shoot a lot of birds towards the middle of the day because so Travis shot the first trick.
Yeah,
birds literally landed 3 feet from us.
Yeah, 3 feet from us.
Like I could have grabbed him by the neck.
Yeah,
it was
they
crazy.
were right there.
So Travis shot the first bird.
Yeah,
single. Then another single came in 15 yards. I smoked him. So we both had a bird. And then
I think that's when that group came in and you got the
it
three.
It was foggy at this time, I think.
Yeah.
Right? So me and Travis were standing right next to each other, and I think Titus was on our left at that time. So some birds came in, not decoyed, not close enough for where we were all going to shoot. Then I think I don't know if they turned out in front of us or whatever happened, but they landed just upwind of us, probably, 35 yards probably on the water. And I looked back at Titus, I was like, they landed. He's like, he kind of shrugged or whatever. So I'm like, dude, I'm going to shoot this.
I go, shoot, I don't shoot him. What else would you do,
So anyways, it was light enough where I could see drakes and hens or whatever. So I was like, okay, I'm going to shoot this drake, and then I'm going to move right to the right and shoot this drake. Well, I shot one on the water. He died, and I moved to the second one, and I shot, and another drake flew in front of him. So I scotch doubled on my second shot. So I was at that point, I was up to 4.
Yeah.
So that actually really helped out the whole day. for everyone to get their limits. So I think I moved at that time or something like that, and you guys started picking away at them.
Yep.
The rest, I mean, there's a couple things we could touch on during the middle, but the rest is kind of like a blur. I mean, there was good groups working. It was really foggy. I mean, really foggy.
Yeah, we had a lot of widgeon working, but they would land in the middle of a river.
Not one widgeon came.
I mean, we could have shot some. I think
there
at
was
40 yards. You know what I'm saying? We could have shot them, but
we know the way the river is.
None decoy.
That was the other thing is I wasn't shooting that good either, which is very frustrating as well.
Yeah.
I was really hitting everything in the back, and I made one good shot in the morning. He was coming right in the decoys, low on the deck, and I shot him. Bam, folded him. He was dead.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first spurt, and I was shooting a 20 gauge, my 20 gauge. And then after that, it was just like everything was tailpiped. Bam. And, I mean, luckily I was shooting bismuth, but the thing is like I'd have to send Rocky out.
There was one.
What was that one time there was 2 birds in the water, and Rocky was like, was there 2 or 3 birds in the water? And Rocky went to the one, then he went back to this one. I was like, no.
I think that was when I shot the 3. I think.
Oh, you're right. I didn't even shoot right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there was another one you shot that we had to get the boat for, and it was foggy.
Bad shot. Close bird.
I actually shot at him out in the boat, and I
that was like
missed.
that was like a 10-shot bird because you guys were out there looking around for him, and I was sitting there, and earlier in the hunt, me and Caleb and I were in the Tulies, and we seen like it was either a muskrat or something out there swimming, and so I'm looking, and there was kind of a ripple in the water, and I seen something going across. I'm like, told Caleb, I go, hey, there's that muskrat again. I'm looking, I'm like, that's that stinking duck. And he had swum that duck probably swam, I don't know.
And upstream.
500 yards, and he swam upstream, and he was hooking it, going across there. I took off after him, and I shot him, and then he floated out deeper than I was willing to go. I was afraid he was going to go on my head, and then you guys had to come and retrieve him. Yeah.
It was so foggy. I mean, you could only see, like 40 yards maybe?
Yeah, you couldn't see very far.
So
that was tough.
Yeah, then we had that big group of widgeon work around, and
several. Yeah,
and then I heard a weird noise. I'm like, there's a mallard somewhere, and I'm like,
I was standing next to you at this point.
Yeah, and I was like, there's a mallard somewhere, and I'm sitting there, and this bird comes in about 3 feet off the water, and he lands probably, I don't know, 25 yards out there, and he's sitting on the water. I'm like, oh, there's a Drake mallard. I'm like, okay, I want to be sporty. I'm gonna jump this thing up and shoot him, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, I don't really look like a Drake mallard. But when he was coming in, I seen that dark chest, you know what I'm saying, the dark head, and the white underbelly, and I'm like, that's got to be a mallard. And so he's sitting there, and I'm like, hey. And you know when, like, when you see birds, I take mental pictures of things. And so I have this mental picture of this bird sitting on the water, and he jumps, and I'm boom, miss. I'm like, crud, boom, miss, crud, boom, miss, crud. And he keeps going. And then as he's flying away, I'm like thinking of this mental picture in my mind. I'm like, that's not what I think it was. And it was at that moment I realized that I just missed the bird that in 5 lifetimes I would probably never see again in the wild.
Or have a chance to shoot at.
And I am 99.9% sure it was a brewer's duck because of the bill. I mean, I've mounted a couple of them, and I know what they look like.
And if you don't know what that is, that's a Gabwall mallard cross.
Hybrid, yeah. And he didn't take off like a regular mallard.
He
took off low, almost like a diver, but he didn't. Yeah, he kind of like went low across the water, and as I was shooting at him, and then he lifted up and disappeared into the fog, never to be seen again by me. And but he'll live.
And by the way, folks, it was his birthday.
Yeah, it was my birthday, and it'll live forever in my mind.
God sent a little brewer's duck to him for his birthday present.
It'll live forever in my mind. Dummy, I would should have just sluiced that thing.
Did you
on the
tear
water.
up a little bit?
I didn't tear up. But I knew that my opportunity of a lifetime was gone.
Emotional.
That was the hardest I've ever seen Travis just beat himself up.
Oh my goodness! What I mean, you only get a chance like that once in your lifetime, and if you don't get them, and I was talking to my buddy Eugene.
There's some stuff like that that's too much for words.
Yeah, he goes. You're describing exactly. He goes. What you're saying. He goes. That had to be a brewer's duck, and then he was telling me that Shane Smith, that mounts birds, he told him. He goes. One day Shane Smith called him up and it's like, Eugene, I just need to cry on your shoulder. He goes, we were hunting, and he goes, a pintail mallard cross came in and landed at 30 yards. And he goes, I whiffed at him 3 times.
That's terrible, man.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, you don't see those birds in the wild.
Yeah.
But I kind of had like a consolation prize. I mean, it's not a bird that people are like, oh, I've killed those, and I've killed hundreds of those or whatever. But we were sitting there, and it was foggy. Some widgeon were working, and the fog kind of cleared a little bit, and there was a whole group of goldeneye that were swimming in the water. And we started quacking at them. They started like swimming towards us, which was really weird because we were using mallard calls. As he got closer, I seen a drake in the back.
This is right after the brewer's duck, by the way.
Yeah, like 5 minutes after the brewer's duck. And I'm looking at him, I was like, that looks like a burrows. And I'm like, nah, there's no burrows out here. I'm looking at him, and the closer he got, I should have known by the little dots going down his back. But I seen his face, and I seen kind of like a big moon look versus the small circle. And I'm looking at him like, I think that's a burrows. And I told you guys, and you're like, that's a burrows. And I'm like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah. And I wasn't. Well,
I said, look at the dots on the going across the side, and I said, if you don't shoot him, I'm going to.
Yeah, and so he was on the water, and I'm not gonna say hey to him, because he's just gonna run or dive or whatever. So I shot him. He dove, and we chased him a little bit, shot him a couple times, and Rocky brought him in, and sure enough, it was a Drake Barrows goldeneye, beautiful bird, first one I've ever shot, and it was definitely a bucket list bird.
Yeah,
and I was really happy to get him, but I'm just thinking, man, I could have had a Brewers and a Barrows the same day.
That'd been crazy.
It just didn't happen, and I'll never get that chance again.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
That'd been crazy.
So, but it is what it is, right? I mean, people probably have missed 40-inch mule deer bucks and they'll never see them again, and 400 class bull elk, and other people have obviously missed hybrids. It's just I didn't want it to be me, and it was, so can't cry over spilt milk or whatever. But it was cool to see it, and I can always say, oh yeah, I missed the Brewers. Yeah, like I'm on the good for you, right?
Yeah.
No, I don't know, but it was cool, and I really enjoyed the last day.
Yeah.
And it was really cool because we had some big groups come in, and you don't see those bigger groups typically in California. So that was cool to see birds working. And
on an ending note, one of the cool things about the hunt is Travis limited out, and then me and Titus limited out in the same volley of birds.
Yeah, that was a good group.
We both shot and dropped 2 Drake mallards. So
yeah,
that was pretty cool. I don't think we've ever done that before. So
that was
cool.
I
got a double. Remember that those 2 came in, and I dropped the Drake, dropped the hen. That was cool.
Yeah.
You shot a double, but that was my first double of the trip, and because I had killed, I think, 3 birds up to that point.
Yeah, you stoned both those birds.
So that was fun.
Yeah, it was a good hunt.
Yeah, I was definitely glad to go home on that.
Yeah, it's good to go on a high note home.
Yeah.
So.
But anyways, all right. Well, I don't think there's nothing else to cover besides hitting those rocks and you screaming going out there. That was funny.
What was that?
I don't know what you were saying or doing, but
it was like shallow when you start like hitting the. I could hear the propeller hitting the rocks. I'm like, oh great, we're gonna bust off the propeller. We're gonna be stuck out here. I'm not gonna miss my flight home. And
that's the sked hitting, but it is still catching every once in a while that prop for sure.
Yeah, it just doesn't sound really good. Metal,
it doesn't. It's
rock and metal don't make a good noise together.
Mm-hmm. I will say that gator tail though will pop up kind of pretty good over it. Like. It'll jump throw it up a little bit, but still, it's just like
that one I hit, that motor jumped big time.
Yeah,
and I think on this too, I realized that there's some places in Idaho that I probably would not relocate to.
Yeah, the unfriendly zone.
There's some places I would, and some places I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Probably.
Just because the looks or the people?
Oh no, the looks of the country. Not what I expected.
Yeah.
It's
where we were at too. Yeah, I'm high desert.
Yeah, I'm more if I'm going to stay, I
and
want a little bit of on the edge of the pines.
Just gotta go north more, I guess.
Yeah. I like the edge of
higher
the
mountains.
pines.
Yeah. So,
but
I think that probably covers everything, huh?
Yep.
It was a fun trip. Like
Yeah,
I know it probably sounds like this. It was just like, oh man, you guys sound like you're depressed, but no, it was a good trip.
Yeah, it was.
A lot was learned, and Idaho has not seen the end of me. I'll tell you that right now. I don't accept defeat. But no, it wasn't like we always say. We were just tested. All the things we always talk smack on, think we know everything about. We were definitely put to the test of you learn. You got to walk away with something from everything. Like you're always gonna learn something, no matter if it's bad or good. You're gonna learn. So
yeah, and you learn some stuff.
Oh yeah, you don't jump out of the boat Thomas learned that
Yeah.
without testing the bottom.
Yeah.
See how deep it is?
I learned that myself prior to that, and he learned that, and there's a lot of things, man.
Yeah.
I could probably write a little book about it, but
Yeah.
I gotta go to work, and these guys gotta get home. I told them I wasn't gonna be that long, so hope you guys enjoy the video. Check it out this afternoon. It'll be up 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, beginning of the journey. So check it out, Mid Valley Mercenaries, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.